In February 2013, guests at the infamous Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles turned on their faucets, expecting clean water. Instead, a thick, dark liquid poured out, carrying a foul stench that filled their rooms. Complaints flooded the front desk as people realized the water coming from their taps was visibly contaminated and smelled of decay. The horrifying source of this contamination was discovered soon after. The decomposing body of a young woman had been lying inside one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks, unnoticed, for an estimated 2 to 3 weeks. This victim was 21-year-old Elisa Lam, a Canadian tourist visiting Los Angeles alone. The only clue to her final, terrifying hours came from the hotel's security camera, capturing Elisa inside an elevator, behaving in a deeply disturbing and unexplained manner. The footage shows her stepping in and out of an elevator, frantically pressing buttons, peering anxiously down the hallway, as if expecting someone or something, and making unusual gestures with her hands. She appears to hide within the elevator itself, before stepping out again into the hallway and vanishing from view as the elevator doors close. This grainy video became the last confirmed sighting of Elisa Lam alive, sparkling a global obsession, fueling countless wild theories about the Cecil Hotel's dark history, and leaving one haunting question echoing. How did a vibrant young woman end up dead and alone in a sealed water tank on the roof? To understand how Elisa Lam ended up in a water tank, we should rewind. Elisa was a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, Canada, described by friends as intelligent, artistic, and adventurous, someone who documented her travels through photography and writing. She was on a solo trip down the West Coast, exploring cities like San Diego, Santa Cruz, and finally LA. But Elisa also carried a significant personal challenge. She had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. See, this condition required diligent management through prescription medication to stabilize her moods and prevent episodes of severe mania or depression. On January 26, 2013, seeking affordable accommodation, she checked into room 506 at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. But let me tell you, the Cecil Hotel wasn't just another budget hotel. It stood on the edge of Skid Row and held a notorious reputation cemented over decades. A place linked to the serial killers like the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez, who had stayed there, and numerous documented suicides and violent deaths within its walls, earning it a grim fascination in true crime circles. Elisa's first few days seemed ordinary. She communicated regularly with her parents back home, sharing her experiences. The last confirmed contact was a phone call on January 31st. When February 1st arrived and Elisa failed to check out, stopped answering phone calls and messages entirely, her deeply concerned parents contacted the LA Police Department. The detectives initiated a missing person investigation. Searching a small Cecil Hotel room revealed belongings neatly packed or organized, her suitcase still present, and, critically, bottles of her prescribed mood stabilization medication, including lithium, left behind and seemingly untouched. There was no evidence of a struggle, no forced entry, no overturned furniture, nothing to immediately suggest foul play. With limited leads, investigators made a crucial decision, hoping for public assistance. On February 13th, they released the haunting elevator security footage, and the strategy backfired spectacularly. Instead of generating simple tips, the video went viral, igniting an international firestorm of speculation. Online forums and social media platforms exploded. Armchair detectives meticulously dissected every second of the footage, generating increasingly outlandish theories involving supernatural forces, elaborate conspiracies, or connection to the hotel's dark past, placing immense pressure on the LAPD. Despite this unprecedented online frenzy and repeated physical searches of the Cecil's complex corridors, stairwells, and common areas over more than 2 weeks, Elisa Lam remained utterly missing. Not a single credible sighting or solid lead emerged after that elevator video, deepening the mystery and the sense of dread surrounding the decaying hotel, a dread that would soon become horrifying tangible when guests began noticing the water. By February 19, 2013, guests at the Cecil Hotel could no longer ignore the water. Complaints escalated from uneasy whispers to urgent demands. The liquid flowing from taps was now visibly dark, with an overpowering rotten odor. Some described it as sour or like decay. Hotel management initially downplayed concerns, but as pressure mounted, a maintenance worker was sent to inspect the 4 massive water tanks on the roof. Each 4 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and holding roughly 1,000 gallons. And what he discovered would unravel the mystery. As he approached a tank, he found its heavy metal lid open and shifted aside, not sealed as standard protocol required. Using a ladder leaning against the tank, he climbed to peer inside. Floating near the top was the naked body of a young woman, face down. Her clothes, a red dress, underwear, and wristwatch, drifted nearby in the murky water. The worker immediately called 911. Police and the fire department descended on the Cecil Hotel. Elisa Lam's body, severely decomposed after 19 days submerged, was recovered from the tank. This scene raised immediate, chilling questions. How did the lid end up open? And how could Elisa climb the ladder and move the 20-pound lid herself? And crucially, had hotel guests unknowingly consumed water contained by the remains for days? The hotel was evacuated. Health officials condemned the water system. Panic rippled through the city, while online sleuths dissected this grim new puzzle with morbid intensity. The elevator footage now had a horrifying endpoint, but the how and why remained in the Cecil's Hotel shadows. When the body recovered, the LA County Coroner's Office began its autopsy. The findings were for many unexpected. There was no evidence of significant physical trauma before death, no broken bones, no defensive wounds, no indication of an attack. The cause of death was definitely ruled drowning. However, the water in her lungs wasn't the whole story. Investigators returned to her room with renewed focus. There, they documented a crucial detail initially noted but not yet fully understood. Her prescribed lithium carbonate capsules, vital for managing her bipolar disorder, were found largely untouched. Toxicology tests confirmed this grim reality. Elisa had almost no detectable levels of lithium in her system. This wasn't a minor lapse. The levels indicated she had likely stopped taking her medications days or even weeks before her disappearance. And this fact changed everything. Medical records and her documented history confirmed a devastating pattern. When Elisa stopped taking lithium, she was at extreme risk of severe manic episodes. These episodes could manifest as acute psychosis, involving intense paranoia, terrifying hallucinations, profound disorientation, and impulse dangerous behaviors. Abruptly stopping the specific medication can trigger exactly these symptoms. The bizarre elevator footage now had a potential medical explanation. Her pressing buttons frantically, peering fearfully down the empty hall, hiding within the elevator, and gesturing oddly were tragically consistent with someone experiencing a profound psychotic break. Meanwhile, police investigators physically retraced her possible path. They confirmed a fire escape access from the 14th floor led directly to the roof, debunking early claims the roof was completely inaccessible. The ladder leaning against the tank, found by the maintenance worker, was standard equipment. Crucially, LAPD demonstrated that the tank's 20-pound lid could be easily slid open by a single adult. It was not bolted or locked. The pieces aligned. A young woman in the grip of untreated psychosis, disorientated and possibly seeking water or refuge, climbing onto the roof via the accessible fire escape, finding the tank lid open, or managing to open it herself, climbing in and becoming trapped. Despite the mounting medical and physical evidence pointing to a tragic accident, the online frenzy refused to subside. Conspiracy theories multiplied, amplified by the Cecil Hotel's sinister reputation and the unnerving elevator footage. Investigators, on the other hand, were forced to address these myths directly using hard evidence. Later that year in June, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office issued its final ruling. Elisa Lam's death was an accidental drowning. The official report cited her bipolar disorder as a significant contributing factor, specifically noting the absence of therapeutical levels of lithium in her system. The sequence of events, supported by all physical and medical evidence, became tragically clear. During a state of acute psychosis, Elisa accessed the hotel's roof via the unlocked 14th floor fire escape. She encountered the open or easily opened water tank lid, climbed the ladder, and entered the tank. Likely driven by disorientation, paranoia, thirst, or a misguided search for refuge. The heavy lid then closed behind her, trapping her inside. There was no evidence of foul play, no supernatural force at work. In the aftermath, the Cecil underwent extensive renovation and rebranding, attempting to distance itself from its notorious past. Elisa Lam's death stands as a somber reminder of the devastating consequences when serious mental illness goes untreated, and the vital importance of consistent medication management. Her story transcends online mysteries, and it is a call for greater understanding, compassion, and support for those battling invisible demons. Elisa was not a ghost story. She was a young woman whose life ended in a heartbreaking accident, far from home, during a crisis that could have been prevented.